So we're talking about super high temperatures on brakes, and you got to keep them cool. Now, you need, if you're getting it, once you're past novice and getting it intermediate or advanced, you have to have brake ducts. You've got to get that fresh air to the brakes. And the reason for that is that if you don't, the temperature is going to skyrocket. And there's a couple of things I'll show you on this rotor to be aware of. That in rotors, now you see this is slotted. Every single rotor that we use or sell is slotted. In fact, we even have our own special part numbers at Bear because we only use slotted rotors. You know, I know the popular thing is like the drilled and slotted. Here's the problem with drilled. When they start running super high temperatures, the cracks will start at the drill points, and they won't last very long. Now I know that you'll see drilled rotors on Porsche. Well, that's a completely different type of rotor. I mean, those holes aren't drilled; they're cast in, and the steel they're using is super high grade, so they have a tendency to work for like track. But even so, you look at any race Porsche, it's got slotted rotors. Another important thing about slotted rotors is you always want this slot pointing forward, and there's good reason for that. Number one, well, first of all, what the slots do is actually, you know, you pretty figured out they help get rid of the brake dust. But the other important thing is when you push down a brake pads on the rotor, it builds up gases, and as it builds up gases, the gases at the back are more than the front. Back in the Celine days, I mean, our brake pads would come up looking like a wedge, and that's because we couldn't use slotted rotors, and there was gas buildup at the back, which means you're losing braking at the back. And so these help reduce the gas, and also the different piston size helps keep it flat. But also, if you look, you can see the inside, the rotor's going this way, and the air is expelling outwards this way. If you were to look at the other way, if you had the rotor this way, you'd be scooping air in, and that would be creating heat in the middle. And what you want to do is you want to put as much air as possible into the eye of the rotor, because brakes cool from the center out. So that's why on my brake ducts that we have for SN95 and S197, it's a 3-inch duct, and it's oval. Now here's what's different about my brake ducts is that you can see they're oval. Now this is for S197, and the reason they're oval, I'm going to push you down again, don't get sick, is that when I go on here, maybe go up here you can see it better, all the air is going into the eye of the rotor where you want it. And so we take a 3-inch duct and we oval it down, so 100% of the air that we're pulling off the front of the car is going into the eye of the rotor for more efficient braking. Now when we're doing the Mustang Challenge cars, they came with the Ford 4-inch brake ducts. And you know, the 4-inch brake ducts were so big that about half of the brake duct was on the rotor, the other half was in the eye. And when we ran back-to-back testing, we had two cars. We had one with my brake ducts and one with a Ford. The rotor temperatures were pretty similar. The big difference in looking at the rotor paint is that the inside of the rotor was running cooler than the outside, which explained why we were getting uneven pad wear inside and out. So, you know, the 4-inch ducts, you know, they look nice and big and cool, but if you can see the rotor, you're not getting 100% efficiency on the air that's going in there.